Most people spend their lives trying to be liked. They smooth their words. They swallow their opinions. They say yes when they mean no. They laugh at jokes they don't find funny. They tolerate behavior they shouldn't. And they do it all for one reason: approval. They want to be accepted, included, and seen as good. But here's the uncomfortable truth: being liked does not protect you. It does not earn you respect, and it does not give you power. In many cases, it does the opposite. The more you chase being liked, the more you give people permission to treat you casually. You become predictable, convenient, easy to ignore. People sense when you're afraid to lose their approval, and unconsciously, they stop valuing your presence. Not because you lack worth, but because you're signaling that your standards are flexible. Respect doesn't grow in flexible environments. It grows where there are clear limits, calm confidence, and consistency. Respect is not about intimidation. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about self-trust. It's about knowing what you stand for and refusing to abandon it to stay comfortable. When you stop trying to be liked, your tone changes. Your posture changes. Your words become more direct. You stop explaining yourself unnecessarily. You stop filling silence with justification. You speak when it matters, and you're silent when it doesn't. That restraint alone commands attention. People-pleasing often hides behind kindness, but kindness without boundaries is just self-neglect. Real kindness includes honesty. It includes saying no when needed. It includes holding standards even when it risks disapproval. Respect is born the moment people realize you will not bend just to keep things smooth. They may not always agree with you, but they'll think twice before crossing you. When you aim to be liked, you manage reactions. When you aim to be respected, you manage yourself. You don't rush to respond. You don't defend every decision. You don't engage in every argument. You understand that emotional control is a form of authority. Calmness signals confidence. Silence signals certainty. And clarity signals leadership. There's a shift that happens when you stop chasing approval. You begin to notice how often you were shrinking. How often you were editing yourself. How much energy you were spending trying to maintain an image instead of protecting your values. And as you let that go, something powerful replaces it: presence. People start listening differently. They respond differently, not because you demanded respect, but because you stopped giving it away. Being respected doesn't mean everyone will like you. In fact, some people will like you less when you stop pleasing them. But those people were never respecting you to begin with. Respect costs something. It costs the courage to disappoint. It costs the willingness to be misunderstood. And it costs the discipline to stay grounded when others react emotionally. Strong people don't chase validation. They don't argue to prove their worth. They don't explain themselves into exhaustion. They let their consistency speak. They let their boundaries do the talking. And they let their calm presence set the tone. That's why they're respected, not because they're perfect, but because they're firm. The moment you stop trying to be liked, you stop negotiating your self-respect. You stop trading your peace for approval. You stop living for reactions and start living by standards. And people feel that shift immediately. They may not say it, but they sense it. The dynamic changes. The way they speak to you changes. The way they treat your time, your words, and your presence changes. You don't need to become louder. You don't need to become harsher. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to stop abandoning yourself for acceptance. Respect is not something you ask for. It's something you demonstrate. And the moment you choose self-respect over being liked, you stop chasing power and start embodying it. Respect is not something people give you because you are agreeable. It is something they offer when they understand that you operate by clear standards. Approval is emotional and temporary. Standards are behavioral and consistent. When you chase approval, you adjust yourself to fit the comfort of others. You soften your words, delay your truth, and compromise your boundaries to avoid tension. In doing so, you unintentionally teach people that your position is flexible, negotiable, and dependent on their reaction. That is not how respect is built. Respect forms when people know exactly where you stand and recognize that you will not move simply to be accepted. Standards create predictability, and predictability creates trust. When people see that your values don't shift depending on who is in the room, they begin to take you seriously. You don't need to announce your standards loudly. You demonstrate them through consistent decisions, calm refusals, and the quiet confidence of someone who knows their limits. Approval-seeking behavior, on the other hand, creates confusion. One day you tolerate something, the next day you resent it. One moment you agree, the next you withdraw. That inconsistency weakens your presence. Many people confuse kindness with approval. Kindness is rooted in self-respect. Approval is rooted in fear. Kindness says, I can be honest and considerate at the same time. Approval says, I'll be agreeable so you don't reject me. People may enjoy the comfort of approval seekers, but they rarely respect them. Comfort doesn't command respect, clarity does. When your standards are clear, people adjust their behavior around you. They may not like it at first, but they recognize it. Standards also remove the need for constant explanation. When you live by approval, you explain every decision to avoid upsetting someone. When you live by standards, your behavior explains itself. You don't over-justify. You don't over-apologize. You don't negotiate your values. That steadiness is what people respond to. Respect grows when others realize that pressure does not move you, guilt does not control you, and discomfort does not make you abandon yourself. Approval asks, "Do you like me?" Standards say, "This is how I operate." One posture seeks validation, the other establishes authority. Authority doesn't come from dominance or aggression, it comes from alignment. When your actions match your values, your presence becomes solid. People sense that solidity immediately. They speak to you differently. They listen more carefully. They test you less.